And welcome to the super fun, awesome, happy time reverb show. My name is Gabor.
Hey, welcome along. I'm Alex. I'm going to check out the Mercury 7 from Meris.
Yes. Big thank you to the awesome people at Studio Connections here in Australia, the Australian Meris distributors, for sending this out to us.
Hey, thanks very much. Check out the links below also to our podcast, Instagram and Facebook. That's the other thing I was thinking of.
The Book of Face.
And also comments, questions below. Please hit like and subscribe on the video. Ding the bell. Give us a thumbs up.
Pretty please.
Help us do our thing.
Okay, so the Mercury 7 is a reverb.
Correct.
Yeah. With lots of stuff. So like all Meris stuff, you can watch a video of the Polymoon, for example, here. Like with all Meris stuff, it's quite deep. So should we jump in and go deep?
Let's go the deep end. Oh, so you know the setup today is just guitars going through the pedal into a UAD Apollo with 2 plexi amp sims.
Because it's in stereo. So headphones or good speakers so you can hear the stereo effects and all that sort of stuff as well. So clean, if Alex plays his guitar, it sounds suchly. Now, would you like to start on Ultraplate or Cathedral?
Ultraplate.
Ultraplate. Okay, so you've got this little knobby here that switches between the 2 reverb settings, Ultraplate and Cathedral.
Yep.
You have this little knobby here, which they're also the lights, so the knobs are also the lights, right?
Sure.
This is a swell button, so with this you can actually swell in. It's like a volume swell. And if you hold that in, that goes to, you hold that in and turn knobs, that goes to their secondary functions. But let's begin by just looking at the functions that are there that you can see without them being secondary. Right? Okay, so we're on Ultraplate. We turn it on. If we turn the mix all the way that way, it's all dry.
Pretty long, yeah?
It's a big plate. It almost sounds to me like a baking dish, and it goes that sound. It almost sounds a bit like that when you turn it right up. It's like a
plate is a big steel shape, so
like a wobbly plate.
Similar kind of qualities, yeah.
So then you have so you've got the mix all the way up is all wet, no dry. Lovely. So space decay is basically how big the reverb is. With the Ultraplate, it goes from a quite roomy sound.
Yeah, that's cool.
To sort of that big, like... It sounds like to me it has this kind of... If you just hit do a scrape. Does that... It sounds like a flutter kind of sound.
Yeah.
Anyway. Modulation is modulation. So as you turn it up, it gets quite wild as you turn it up. It gets quite crazy, but we'll get into all that later on as well. So we've got basically how big the reverb is, modulation for the reverb, and a mix. Then we have, also very self-explanatory, low frequency. So what we do with this, if it's on 0, it's flat. If we turn it up, what we're doing is we're boosting low frequency. So we're actually making the reverb bigger by accentuating the low frequencies more. So if, I'll turn it up quite high, and then I gradually turn them up, and you'll see what I mean.
Okay.
So it makes the reverb much bigger too, because it kind of accentuate the low frequencies. You can do the same thing with the high frequencies. So you can make the reverb even bigger than it is by accentuating the low frequencies and the high frequencies, how much or how little you want to. Okay, let's turn all that back to normal again. Right. Now, the last one that we have that's sort of an obvious thing is the pitch vector.
Yeah.
Now, the pitch vector sets an intra-tank pitch interval to octave down, slight pitch up, slight pitch down, fifth up, or octave up.
Cool.
Or decay, pitch vector, mix, and high-low frequency controls all interact to sculpt the intra-tank pitch regeneration. So they all kind of interact together. But let's just have all this off for now and just work through them. So at the moment we set it off. So we can go now. It's kind of like a shimmer. You add an octave. We're going to start off with an octave down, right? You can kind of hear it in the background there.
Super subtle, but there's this kind of like big pillowy
in the background.
bottom end pad.
Then we go to this, which is going to be much more interesting. So this is the pitch goes down. This is the pitch going up. So one goes down, one goes up, right? So it's a pitch up and pitch down. Then we go to the next one, which is a fifth. And then keep going. And then you've got the octave up shimmer, right? So that's what we got there. Now, that one other thing is we have swell. So if you push that in, it's a volume swell in. And if you play a chord and you hold the button in, it holds that reverb.
Ooh, fancy.
So that's all the first functions.
Keeping up so far?
Yes. So now we're going to go into, and I need this because there's too much there to remember. I got to get into secondary functions. Now, secondary functions, like I said before, if you push the Alt button, if you hold it down and spin a knob, that goes into the secondary functions, right? So for example, with the space decay button, that you can set the amount of pre-delay. So you can have it all the way off. Oh, you got to turn it on first.
It's definitely off.
Yeah. The thing I find, it's very subtle. Like, there isn't a huge amount of pre-delay. It doesn't say how far it goes, but there isn't a massive amount of pre-delay, unless there's something wrong with this particular unit. But it is a very subtle amount of pre-delay, but it doesn't go right as you're playing. It leaves you a little bit of space.
It's like a swell rather than a hard.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, somewhere in the middle. There's a little delay there. It's not as immediate, but that's that, right? Pre-delay. Then, now we've got modulation. Now, with the secondary function of modulate, you can set the speed of the modulation.
Yeah, fun.
So, for example, if we give it some modulation, like there somewhere.
Yep.
So you can set how fast you want the modulation to be, from a fairly subtle thing to quite a not subtle thing.
Totally.
Now, but that's only one modulation. We want more than one type of modulation, don't we?
Naturally, yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah.
So there's also a vibrato.
Yeah, cool.
It adds vibrato to the reverb input for lush, haunting trails. So that's the secondary function of the high frequency. So if I turn that up, for example, now, so turn it all the way up so you can maybe hear it best.
Okay.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's really pretty.
Vibrato in the trails.
Yeah.
So now you can combine that with the other modulations. You can have both modulations.
Go into the future.
Oh, we've already gone there.
Alice in Wonderland style.
Yeah.
How does that work at slow, like smaller? Do you get more just modulation? That's an interesting sound.
I guess you can do it without the reverb, just using the modulation. Yeah. I can turn that up.
Interesting
and even
sound.
have like a lower octave there. Yeah, but there you go. I mean, you could use a modulation without the reverb.
Yeah.
Now, lastly, what we can also set now, or not lastly, one of the lastlies, you can also set the volume of the shimmer. So if we turn shimmer on, so let's say we go up to, and we want more reverb for that. So that's that so far. Now, last thing we can do, if I remember everything, is you can set the attack time of the swell. So the pitch vector, if you hold that in, so that if you turn it all the way down, now the swell. So you can make it all the way down. It comes in very easily, quickly. As you turn it up, it takes a lot longer for it to come in.
Longer swell, yeah.
Oh, and the one I forgot is density. It's another one that's kind of subtle. So density sets the amount of initial buildup of echoes before the reverb tank. Right. Whatever exactly that means, which is this one. So if we, for example, turn a reverb up quite a bit again so you can hear it, maybe get rid of modulation and get rid of this. Okay, let's have that demo up, I guess, yeah.
Yo.
To me, those two are very, very subtle. Yeah. Like, there's not much that they really do. So that's all the secondary functions. Now let's have a look also at the cathedral setting.
Whole other algorithm there.
Because that's, so now we went from this kind of, you can almost turn it into a room reverb, to this, which is, this is the really massive reverb. So I mean, if I turn a reverb up a fair bit, it sounds like this.
This was like a really short, like a small cathedral.
Alrighty. Little one, itty bitty one.
Tiny church. That's still huge.
There you can kind of hear the pre-delay. So now it's all the way off, which is pretty much instant. And there's a little gap now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a huge pre-delay.
It's a bit more like a swell in rather than a...
Yeah.
Something like quite drastic.
So now with the cathedral, it's all exactly the same, right? So all the modulation works the same. So I, for example, just had to stand, I turned that up a bit, I turned that modulation up, I gave it some vibrato, a little bit of pitch up.
Would you like to have a play and I'll just make up some sounds?
Sure.
Because that can only end well.
Can it? So I've got my parts, master, caster, blaster, caster, master, blaster, caster. There's a video for that here. Some fantastic Martin Smith pickups, make a guitar neck, watch the video, and it sounds suchly. If I could play guitar. Needs spooky chords. Now,
What's up?
there's more, because there's also an expression external input thingy. Expression buttons here, but so Meris makes a 4-button foot switch where you can store presets. You can actually internally store up to 16 presets that you can either via their 4-button foot switch, or you can get a TRS to MIDI converter that they make, which you can then via MIDI, you can use MIDI controllers to recall the presets. But you can also plug in, like for example in this case, what we call an El Cheapo expression pedal. And you can actually set It's quite easy to set up. So you plug it in, you put it into the heel position, you do whatever you want to do, put it in toe position. But if you plug it in, it should technically remember also, after I've broken it, what the settings were last time that was connected.
It's pretty cool.
So if you go to heel, for example, it sounds like this. And then it goes away, and then it goes to this.
Crazy.
That's cool actually if you play something. End of the song. And it is. I mean, it is basically you put it, you know, on the, let's say the toe position, even all the secondary functions, right?
Yeah.
You know, so you want it to be, I don't know, you want it to be like that with that shimmer, and modulate there. You want that. Exactly what you want when you have a long reverb.
Yeah.
Quick shreddy notes. But I mean, it's cool. It's super simple. You plug it in, you go to toe position, you set it, heel position, set it.
No menus, no
menus, nothing. And like I said, all the secondary functions, everything, you can have it to completely as different as you want settings, and it kind of morphs one into the other. I think before, because I dropped it, it changed one but didn't change the other, and then that's why kind of, you know, at first it kind of just cut off the sounds. But now it was, because I set one and the other,
yeah, sure.
It kind of morphed between the two, because it can kind of morph between the two. So, I mean, for that size, there's a lot going on.
There's no menu diving.
No.
There is.
Well, you can. I mean, you can set it up for MIDI. You can set it up
Sure.
to do the expression pedal to do different things and stuff like that. But there's not really anything.
But you don't have to get all the features out of it.
No. You can go as in depth as you want, or as not in depth as you want. But I mean, that's basically the Mercury 7. Once again, big thank you to the awesome people at Studio Connections here in Australia. If there's anything else you want us to do with it, let us know in the comments, and maybe we'll see what we can do with it. But
comments, questions below, like I said. Also links to our socials, and please hit like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up.
Yes, about 90% of our viewers are not subscribed, so it would really help.
Appreciated.
And go check out our Otterbit Junior video that we did a while ago as well.
That's fun too.
Cool. And on that note, see you next time.
See ya.